When I ask surgeons how good they think they are in their surgical performance, the most common answer is, I'm good. Then, when I ask the next question, are they interested in how to get better at what they do or improve their performance, almost all of them say, yes, they are interested. That is what this video is about. How to get better and quicker at whatever you do. I think it's not just how good you are now, it's how good you can be or how good you are going to be that really matters. So the question is, how do surgeons get better at what they do? How do a few surgeons become exceptionally good? Welcome to this channel dedicated to excellence in surgical performance. I'm Dr. Shiralkar, surgeon and psychiatrist. So the basic question is, how do professionals in general, not just surgeons, but professionals in other fields, get better at what they do? There are various ways to improve performance, but there are two most well-known views. One is the traditional view that you go to college or university, take a formal course, study, learn skills, pass the exam, and then go out into the world and make your own way on your own. That approach believes that a professional is someone who can manage their own improvement. And that is the approach that mostly all professionals have learned by. That's how doctors learn, how lawyers do, how scientists do, and how people in business do. But there is a different view that comes out of sports. And they say you are never done with improvement. Everybody needs a coach. Even the greatest in the game needs a coach. Did you watch Rafael Nadal play a tournament match on TV? The camera focuses on his coach whenever there is some exciting moment in the game. Did you find it amusing that even Rafael Nadal has a coach? The fact is, nearly every elite tennis player in the world does. Not just tennis, all other sports, individual or team sports, including football, cricket, all of them have coaches. Professional players use coaches to make sure they are as good as they can be. But surgeons don't. Professional athletes rely on coaches to optimize their performance. When we talk about surgery and its advancements, we mainly focus on knowledge and technology. We often view each new technological breakthrough or research finding as a potential salvation for surgical domain. I'm not dismissing the value of each of those innovations or knowledge. However, the skills and the competence of surgeons are just as important as the technology or the knowledge itself. This applies across all surgical specialties. Ultimately, what makes the difference is how effective surgeon utilizes the knowledge and technology. Sadly, we have not paid enough attention to developing these skills. One of the issues is that the concept of a coach is a little bit vague. For example, in sports, coaches are not teachers, but they do teach. They are not player's boss because the player can hire or fire the coach. So in that sense, they are not the boss, but they can be bossy when it comes to performance. The most amusing thing is, coaches are not necessarily good at that sport. On the other hand, even if you are good at the sport, you cannot necessarily be a good coach. So what do coaches do? The answer is, coaches observe, analyze, give feedback and suggest changes. So coaches are like editors of a book or journal. So the coaching is different from traditional idea of learning or teaching. The traditional idea assumes that after a certain point, the learner no longer needs instruction or training. You pass exam, you qualify, and you are done. You can manage the rest yourself. In professional sports, coaching has got a different view. It is based on a different premise. It considers that the traditional model is naive or premature about our human capacity for self-improvement. It argues that no matter how well the player is, but very few can achieve and sustain their best performance. But you may be now thinking that how all this applies to surgery. Therefore, I'm going to share an experience of a well-known surgeon from United States of America, Dr. Atul Gawande. Dr. Gawande is a well-known surgeon in the United States. He's popular. He's a very well-known author, speaker, researcher, and many other things. There is so much to say about him that I have included a link about him in the description. So, Dr. Gawande thought about the idea of coaching as a surgeon, and he decided to pay someone to observe him operating in the operating room. He was aware that the idea might seem absurd to some because he was a practicing surgeon for a few years and known to be an expert in endocrine surgery. When you say someone experts, it means that he or she doesn't need coaching. But at the same time, Dr. Gawande had recognized that improving on your own has problems. Often, you don't see the issues affecting your progress, or even if you do, you may not know how to fix them. The result is that eventually you stop improving. Dr. Gawande realized that this was exactly what happened to him as a surgeon. He had been practicing for over a decade, and for the first few years, his learning curve was a steady upward climb. He noticed that complication rate dropped from year to year, and after 5 years, the complication rate leveled out. But at the same time, he realized that there was no improvement in his performance per se. So he decided to try coaching. He asked a former professor of him to observe his surgeries. He shared his first experience as a coachee in an article. That first case went very well. He didn't think that the professor had much to comment on his performance. But after the procedure, the professor handed him a page of notes. Small things. The professor had noticed that the overhead lights had swung out of the operative field during the case. According to the professor, Dr. Gawande operated for about half an hour just using the reflected light from the surface, not on the light above. Another thing he noticed that Dr. Gawande's elbow went up in the air occasionally. That meant that Dr. Gawande was not in full control. Surgeons' elbows should stay down at their side. If the surgeon feels that the elbows are rising, they should switch to different instrument or just move their feet. This is what the professor said. So Dr. Gawande felt that it was a new level of awareness, and he thought there was something fundamentally profound about it. Dr. Gawande felt that professor was prescribing what great coaches do. They are your external eyes and ears, providing a clearer picture of your reality, recognizing the basics, breaking your actions down, and helping you to rebuild them. As it happened, after 2 months of coaching, Dr. Gawande felt that he had improved again. And after 1 year, he saw the complication rates dropped even further. At the same time, Dr. Gawande admitted that it was painful. He didn't like being observed, and at times, he didn't want to work on any of the flaws. He also felt that there were periods where he got worse before he got better. But it made him realize that coaching addresses something profoundly important.